Anything else crazy?
Yeah, yes.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this one's probably gonna get us, some.
Okay. All right. Let me hold on. Let me get my seatbelt.
Yeah.
Let me buckle up here. 10 and 2, right?
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. That's inspiration. I love that. Okay, so one of the ladies that
How
I
did I
know.
know? How did I
Yeah,
know it was a lady? Like, whenever you have a big story or something,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
something I have
yeah.
to prepare for,
Well,
it's
yeah,
always
yeah. So
about
this is
some
somebody.
woman.
Well, it's interesting because I talk to a lot of guys, and they never seem to really have,
Too
uh,
much to share.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And if it is, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like as guys, we're just accustomed to kind of knowing what the situation is, and it seems like a lot of the ladies I know, they just seem to always wrap themselves up and complicate their lives with guys. And
Yeah.
so one lady in particular, and I've never made reference to her before on this show, but um, she's somebody that she's the only other person that I think enjoys Disneyland more than like your mom. She's probably the only other person. The only
There's
other person.
yeah, we haven't talked about it before, but there is like a section of people that are just Disney people, right? It's
Yeah,
they bleed it. It comes out of their veins.
no idea. Like a year or so ago that even existed. I just thought everybody went to Disneyland maybe at most once or twice a year.
Yep.
And I just thought that was, and I didn't realize the season pass thing was like something very serious for people.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, but apparently my female friend, she has been accepting gifts from an admirer. Yeah, she's been, and I think the last gift was about a little over $300.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, right. Yeah, you see how you responded like you naturally know.
Well, okay,
Uh,
you started out weird. You said an admirer, right? You didn't say boyfriend. You didn't say a
yeah, yeah,
prospective like
right. And
relationship. Is
yeah,
this like a
exactly.
secretive admirer? She doesn't know the person's name or what?
She,
She's just
she
getting
hangs out with a guy. She hangs out with a guy. He actually works for Disney.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know to what capacity, but he works for Disney. He's doing very, very well for himself. I suspect that he has, yeah, he's been kind of showing interest in her for some time now. But I have actually explained to her that as she's explained all these things about, yeah, his text messages, the fact that he's dropping off random gifts to her, gift cards for $50 just because, and I'm telling you about the expand of this past year, just randomly sometimes hanging
Yeah.
out with her, and here's a gift card for $50, $60. Here you go, just because.
Yeah.
No special occasion. It's just here you go. And yeah, yeah. And so I almost feel like my friend, she's denying the fact that this guy actually is interested in her. And what really complicates the situation is he actually has a girlfriend,
Ooh, that she knows about.
right? Perfectly where, yeah. And I guess they still sometimes even meet and go hang out at Disneyland for all day. My friend and this guy. And so yeah, I just was explaining to her that there has to be boundaries when it comes to male friends. And I say male friends because, and we've addressed this to some extent, but there are some ladies that they are entertaining the idea of having these male friends, and the guys really just ultimately want to sleep with them. They're not
Yeah.
really interested in the woman; they're interested in being with her. They're not
Yeah.
her friend. And so
Don't mind me while I start to take some notes here about talking points, lest
yeah,
I
yeah,
forget.
yeah, oh yeah, and it's so funny we were talking about this because I actually was thinking about expanding on this a lot more on my own channel, like maybe even tomorrow. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's something that I think ladies need to be aware of is that.
To
Um,
stop hoeing around or what? Huh?
I mean, I
Is
mean,
that what you're trying to say?
I almost want to say, even if they're not going that far with the sexual activity, be mindful that there are some men in your life that are actually admirers. They're interested in you, and if you're going around allowing them to pay for your meals and accommodate you and all this, and you have no intention of being with them, leave them alone and let them bring that energy to someone else that actually possibly wants to be with them. Like, stop entertaining them. Stop taking these gifts. Taking
Come
them.
on, James.
Like,
It's it.
yeah,
Come on. Come on.
yeah.
It,
So it's
it's
just And the thing is, this particular lady, she's not a Christian, So I even told her, I made her a distinction. I said, and maybe because you don't have like a biblical worldview, maybe you don't really see anything wrong with this, But I was just saying, like, these guys obviously, they're interested in you and they're investing in you for that sole purpose. There's, and I just said, like,
Investing? Like what?
yeah,
Women are
yeah,
just like once you get to this threshold of money, there's all these opportunities unlock. Come on now,
yeah,
James.
well, exactly. It's, for some ladies, they, and the thing is, this particular lady positioned herself in this kind of situation with another guy, like, I don't know, year or two ago, I think the guy had a rough situation in regards to living, and I
Yeah.
think he was supposed to be a friend as well. And yeah, he was giving her money because he would come every now and then just to kind of hang out and sometimes just sleep, even if it was on the floor. He would just sleep on the floor
Yeah.
at her place, And she's a single mom trying to, make do. And
Wait, she says
but
she's a mom with kids, and she has like some random dude coming and sleeping on the floor sometimes.
I had a pass with this guy, so I don't know if they were
Okay.
dating once upon a time or he's supposed to be a friend. But she did tell me that they were drinking one time, and this is for a previous relationship or just a friendship. But yeah, one thing led to another, and they did the deed, and so oops, we were just so I was just trying to help her understand that this kind of behavior doesn't really move her forward towards actually being taken seriously by somebody that may actually want to actually be with her in a serious manner. It actually repels men to stay away from her, and it only will attract like the goofballs, that really
Yeah.
won't take her seriously. And so it's actually sabotaging herself.
Well, James, I don't know if you're familiar with the kind of trend video games have been going down of where like microtransactions and everything, right? And how the vast majority of people aren't a fan of it, but the 1% that they can get to like buy in, right? The whale as they would call it is so
Okay.
profitable, so worth it that they're willing to destroy their reputation just to get that money, right?
I like that metaphor. I like that.
I can't help but see some similarities in these two threads, these two plot lines. I think there are some whales out there just in society that will just shill money out to whatever
Uh,
they're interested in, be it, video games or women or whatever, right?
yeah, yeah.
And there's capitalists, people that will take advantage,
Mm.
opportunists, right?
Yeah.
Go-getters, I would say. um, so what's the problem with people taking a free gift every now and then, James? There's nothing wrong with gifts. You've been around on Christmas. Come on, you know maybe she had a hard week. Maybe that $50 Starbucks. Maybe that's needed. You don't know how much. You don't know how much that means to her.
Oh my goodness.
God,
I mean, I understand that, it's nice to receive gifts, of course, just
of
because you
course,
exist, just
of
because you exist,
course.
And yeah, I mean, obviously the guy's attracted to her, and she's had her share of admirers that are willing to, you know, um, accommodate her. I'm going to say accommodate. And and yeah, I mean, she's admitted even to me that things have gotten a little tighter with the inflation and the spiraling inflation. What's been happening the last year and a half.
What's wrong
She
with the
is a
free
single
meal
parent.
nowadays, James? What's wrong with the
Yeah,
free meal?
yeah. So
Biden's
it's rough.
Biden's in
Uh,
there. He's taken. Like, I can't get a free meal now, James. Come on. In this economy, you're gonna
oh
you're
yeah,
gonna be an anti-gift in this economy?
but yeah, I just my whole thing is just it's like misleading the guy, and it's like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, and so yeah, it's just I don't know. I mean, think about let's say I have a niece, or let's say I have a daughter, I wouldn't want her taking money from some guy that
No.
yes, yes, interested in her romantically, and she has zero interest. She will never have any interest, but I'll take your gifts. Yeah, it's like,
I
come
don't
on.
know. I used to be on another side of this. I used to think, yeah, no, the world's tough. Things are hard. Well,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you got the tools, if you have the assets to receive gifts like that, by all means, go use them. Make
yeah,
something of
yeah.
yourself later on. But you know, um, but yeah, I don't. It's definitely a thing of like I not self-respect, but just I guess a
Yeah.
moral code, like you said, a moral standard,
Yeah,
right? That whole
even
thing.
dignity. Absolutely, absolutely,
But what
absolutely.
about this guy? You said he has another girlfriend already, but he's sending gifts to this lady that we're talking about. So, is the problem that she's just accepting gifts in general from anyone who's interested, or just from a guy who already has previous engagements and knowing that you won't be with that person?
I think that has a little bit more to do with it. And the issue I have is that I'm convinced that God has designed this universe to a lot of people go into the idea of karma. Now we're Christians, so I don't really entertain the karma concept because that's a Hindu practice. That's a Hindu concept. But we do understand a biblical concept of the law of sowing and reaping.
Yeah.
And reaping, yeah. And so obviously, if you're investing in a company, and you're putting your all into it, yeah, there's a possibility that, yeah, you may be considered for a position that you may not have anticipated, because the company has seen that you are diligent, you are consistent, you are reliable. I mean, there's a lot of companies where somebody was a janitor once upon a time, and now they're the CEO or whatever else.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, yeah, which I have no idea how that takes place. But there's situations where that's happened. The person was present. The person demonstrated that they can be trusted, that they were knowledgeable or willing to learn. And so when it comes to this sort of thing, I always feel like, especially like for example, you're reading like through the Old Testament, so that Israel, ancient Israel, sometimes they can decide that they want to, I don't know, mock God or do something against what He desires, and later on, it doesn't even have to be immediate. Sometimes later down the line, there's a consequence because of that sin, because of
Oh
that
yeah.
practice. Yeah, it comes back later. It's almost like planting a seed and blooming at the most inconvenient time. It's like,
Yeah.
bloom that. And yeah, I don't know, like for example, if you're at David yet, where he's
Oh
king
yeah.
and
No, I'm all about David right now. I want to talk to you about it because his thing is not almost done, but a lot's happened. Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
but yeah, but it's interesting how in his recklessness, there are times when he just kind of took advantage of opportunities, and just from that one thing, multiple issues from like a variety of other situations took place just from that one thing.
Yep.
Just from that one thing. You
Plagues
know?
even. Biblical
Yeah,
plagues for
yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, but I'm really big on yeah, whether you're a Christian or not, God will correct you. There is this law is already set. So yeah, I don't know. I just think of it's one thing when you have a girlfriend or boyfriend and this is your partner and they're saying, well, hey, sweetheart, I know that you're having a hard time.
Yeah.
I put some money aside for you because I know that you're trying to pull through with your car notes or you're pull through with your debt or your loans. Here you
Yeah.
go. This is a gift for you. Versus somebody that oh, I really hope Tim really likes me, and maybe if I give him $500, uh, it's like,
Oh
come on,
no.
you
I
know what I'm
think
saying? So
well, first of all, you've heard the term of like everybody's got a number, right? You
oh,
so
oh,
oh, it's
oh,
not for sale. What's the number? Let's
yeah,
skip
yeah,
all this negotiation.
what's the
Pull
number?
out the
Yeah,
checkbook. What's the
yeah,
number,
what's
right? So, and that goes for like buying, selling things. That goes for relationships, and a lot of times I want to ask ladies, what's your number? How much would a guy have to invest? Just strictly financial terms. I'm taking an accounting class. Let's just pull up a financial statement and give me the accounts receivable. How much do you need, right? How many accounts receivable you need to make this thing happen, right? Like for instance, for me and Julie, my wife, I mean, it was just a couple of, I'd say maybe like $20 of dollar ice creams throughout our 4 years of high school, right? I just like, oh, he wants, I got it, babe. Don't worry. I just,
I'll take care of that.
yeah, yeah. It's not that hard, fellas. You don't gotta break the bank to get a wife. No.
I
But
can
yeah,
see you writing a book. I can see you like that's the title of your book.
$20 to marriage. Oh man.
I
Yeah,
love
how
it.
to do it without a shotgun wedding.
I'm telling you, man. There you go.
There's a lot of topics in this one though that are interesting. A lot of different flavors of it. Like you said, with it's not just about like the cheating thing, right? But just having a price tag, and whether you think so or not, it's gonna affect how most people think, right? Even if you try to like not accept a bunch of gifts, if someone's like spending a bunch of money on you, it needs to be addressed positively or negatively.
Yes, yes.
Like you need to just make it known like I'm not for sale, right? If that's something, or maybe the person is just overly generous and really does care for you, but just go about it showing that a different way, right? And talk to the person and work that out. Um, but I thought what was interesting, what you were talking about earlier, you were saying that the women can just, I guess, get gifts, right? And how it gets it's not a familiar feeling. I was writing something about this a while ago, or well, a couple of days back. Well, yeah, just talking about how women and men are just different, and how men have to earn love from the world, but women are just loved, right? Out the gate for just their presence, right?
Just existing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Their beauty speaks for itself, quite literally, right?
Yeah.
Where on the opposite hand, like men literally you have to earn love. You have to like provide value to society. You have to produce something to be loved and valued. Typically, like to find a companion or to, just be acknowledged, right? Where any woman can kind of go out and any guy will want to be with her, right? Even the ugliest lady, like at some point, someone down the line will want to be with her, right? Whereas the man has to be bring much more value to the table to be seen as an attractive mate. And that's kind of the difference between like people say, oh, it's a double standard, when like people are more upset over a woman being promiscuous than a man, but it's because like the men like work a lot harder to get a partner, whereas the woman can go to anybody. She has the key to the kingdom and she can give it to anyone who she deems fit, right?
I like that metaphor. Yeah.
It's
Makes
just
it very easy to understand,
yeah, it's one of our natural dichotomies, and I think it's not a bad thing. We have our what we're good at and what we're bad at, and it's just the way God made us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting how that plays a role into like just taking and accepting gifts, right? I mean,
Yeah.
plenty, and we
Yeah.
talked about this last time, how it would be a whole huge conversation of like being a gentleman, respecting women, but not being a simp, right?
Yeah.
So these guys, these whales of society that will just shill out money for any kind of attention, for just a crumb of attention, right? Please, they'll just like pay out the wazoo for it, or give them all sorts of gifts and different romantic gestures and everything. Basically, I think just don't be shallow. Don't let that like determine who you're gonna hang out with, who you're gonna be with.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on your worldview, how nefarious you want to get with it. You want to dip your toes a little bit more. Maybe you're dipping your foot in instead of just a toe, right? Like I've had a hard life. Why not just let me get this? Let me get this free car. Let me.
Compensation, This
Yeah.
is,
I've been through a lot.
I deserve this.
Yes. Let me get the car, and then I'll break it off with him. We'll set it straight.
Yeah.